Welcome students. Now we studied about the brainstorming. This technique is mostly used in corporate companies. Companies want to create new ideas by using this brainstorming. Brainstorming is a group creativity technique by which efforts are made to find a conclusion for a specific problem by gathering a list of ideas spontaneously contributed by its members. In other words, brainstorming is a situation where a group of people meet to generate new ideas and solutions around a specific domain of interest. By removing inhibitions, people are able to think more freely and they suggest as many spontaneous new ideas as possible. All the ideas are noted down without criticism, and after the brainstorming session, the ideas are evaluated. The term was popularized by Alex Osborne in the 1967 book Applied Imagination. Alex Osborne, the father of brainstorming, he invented brainstorming in 1948. In the 1950s, Osborne and his colleague were busy using brainstorming with companies such as General Motors, DuPont, and General Electric. Brainstorming is still widely used today. You can brainstorm anytime you need a lot of ideas to help you come up with new approaches to some situation. Development of brainstorming. Alex Osborne, the O in BBDO, is widely acknowledged as the father of brainstorming, originally called Think Up. The term describes a process by which group attempts to find a solution for a specific problem by amazing all the ideas spontaneously identified by its members. The rules of such a process include no criticism of ideas, go to large quantities of ideas, build on each other's ideas, and encourage wild and exaggerated ideas. The term was invented in 1938 by Alex Osborne and became popularized in his books Applied Imagination, which was published in 1953. It has since gone on to be widely embraced within the marketing and advertising communities. Brainstorming combines a relaxed, informal approach to problem solving with lateral thinking. It encourages people to come up with thoughts and ideas that can at first seem a bit crazy. Some of these ideas can be crafted into original, creative solution to a problem, while others can spark even more ideas. This helps to get people unstuck by jolting them out of their normal way of thinking. Therefore, during brainstorming sessions, people should avoid criticizing or rewarding ideas. You are trying to open up possibilities and break down incorrect assumptions about the problem's limits. Judgment and analysis at this stage stunt ideas generating and limit creativity. Evaluate ideas at the end of the session. This is the time to explore solution further using conventional approaches. Purpose of brainstorming is a way to generate ideas within a group setting. It is usually used in beginning stages of a project where the possibilities for the project are not clearly understood or defined, it provides a quick means for tapping the creativity of a limited number of people for large number of ideas. Brainstorming environment fosters an uninhibited, non-judgmental exploration of ideas, concepts, policies, decisions, and strategies. In brainstorming, all contributions are valid. And the key to a successful session is to share as many ideas as possible without evaluating them. Brainstorming session can be unstructured, that is, there may not be moderator facilitator. Most sessions, however, are facilitated structured discussion with the guidelines to help the process move along smoothly and allow a variety of perspectives and ideas to surface. Step 2, effective brainstorming. This is one of the fundamental one. Set direction, stay focused, involve everyone, all the persons in the group participate in the brainstorming, invite wild ideas, look for obvious, openly see what they think about and reproduce their idea in this session. Cross fertilities, suspend judgment. This is important compared with another in the brainstorm session. Allow repetitions. Don't stop. Display ideas. This is the main steps. 7 steps to effective brainstorming. Almost all business will engage in brainstorming activities at some point. However, if the process is not managed correctly, it can quickly turn into a huge waste of time. Often, discussion can go off on tangents, circle the same idea, or worse yet, they can lead to disagreements. For brainstorming to be successful, it needs to be effective and efficient as well as focused on achieving clear goals and objectives. When we are brainstorm ideas with the clients, we like to follow these simple steps. 7 steps to effective creative brainstorming. Identify objectives. When identifying the objectives for a brainstorming session, it is always a good idea to think about the problem you are trying to solve. First step. Second step, set a time limit. Third, write everything down. Fourth, be open to be ridiculous. Fifth, avoid group thinking. Sixth, get specific. Seventh, share the results. Now we study this step by step. We study. Continue on. Identify objectives. When identifying the objectives for a brainstorm session, it is always a good idea to think about the problems you are trying to solve. You can do this by beginning with your wider business subject objectives and identifying priorities within this. All are any business concepts that you need to address. Make a note of these and list them by importance. Your top priority should be the focus of the brainstorming session. Once you have identified your focus, you should begin the brainstorming session by starting the overview and the goals of the brainstorming session. Setting goals and objectives for your brainstorming session will help to create boundaries and keep the brainstorming session on track. Second step, set a time limit. Setting a time limit for your brainstorming session can be helpful because it makes everyone aware that the goals of the session need to be meet within a certain time frame. This will help to keep discussions on topic and encourage team members to maintain momentum. How long your time frame needs to be will very much depend on the size and the scope of the project. If you are working on a large project, it might be good idea to split the brainstorming session by topic and spread them over several days. Or alternatively, you could split the team into groups to handle each topic in smaller teams. Write everything down. When the ideas are flowing, it is important to keep track of everything that's said. You could do this by writing out post-it notes and spreading them out across a table or board, or make use of whiteboard or flip chart in a meeting room. Make sure that you take a note of all ideas, both good and bad, because you never know. With a little thought, the bad ideas could potentially turn into great ideas. You think, when brainstorming, it can also be good idea to make use of visual aids, make sketches, create mood boards, and get creative. You could even bring along items like building bricks, modeling clay, construction paper, etc. to aid the creative brainstorm process. To help to communicate ideas visually, because this gives the people around you opportunity to visualize ideas and to come up with new interpretations. Fourth step, be open to the ridiculous. Even heard the saying that every idea is a good idea. Well, obviously, this is not strictly true, but in order for brainstorming session to work, this should be prevailing attitude. And although not every idea will be a brilliant idea, a bad idea would be provide a stimulus for a great idea. This is why even the most ridiculous ideas should be encouraged to keep the creative process going. Being open to the ridiculous also help to create a sense of ease within the brainstorm team. The worst thing that could happen is for individuals to be reluctant to speak up for fear of being ridiculed. Avoid group thinking. Avoid group thinking. Group thinking is the practice of thinking or making decision as a group, resulting typically in unchanged, poor quality decision making. It often occurs where a group of people conform. Out of a desire for harmony, individuals are reluctant to change ideas because they want to minimize conflict as much as possible. Group thinking is disastrous in terms of brainstorming because it creates a barrier to creative thinking and honest communication, while also preventing critical evaluation of ideas. Usually, in this situation, there will be one influential leader of the group leading the discussion, while the rest of the group nods on this agreement. On the way to minimize the impact of group thinking is to appoint a moderator or encourage critical evaluation through positive reinforcement. Get specific. At the beginning of a brainstorming session, it is a good idea to take a scattergun approach to the ideas process. The idea is to create as many ideas as possible while exploring all avenues and possibilities. Once you have gathered plenty of ideas and you feel like you have considered all eventualities, you then needed to hone in one of the best ideas from this process. Begin by eliminating the least relevant ideas until you have a short list of very best you see. You can then take your best ideas and begin exploring each of these in greater detail. You could do this by breaking into smaller groups or by taking them one by one. This will help to identify the most viable suggestion from this session. Share the result. Share the result. Great ideas are usually the result of a huge team effort. They are inspired, shaped, and influenced by a number of groups and individuals. This way, it is important for you to share the result of your brainstorming session outside the group. This will provide the opportunity for the ideas to be developed and refined even further until they became a fully formed innovation. Goals and objectives of brainstorming. Upon completion of this class, you will be able to describe the technique of effective brainstorming, identify and use common brainstorming technique and rules, explain the rules of brainstorming, list and use the factor for effective brainstorming, evaluate and practice good brainstorming techniques, utilize a checklist to ensure brainstorming session or optimal experience. Osborne method, you see brainstorming activity conducting. First, conducting the top left corner, you see conducting the brainstorming, explain problem, warm up and present rules. The facilitator gives present some rules, call for ideas are available, suggest a lead. You see participants write down their ideas and then everybody presents their ideas to turn. You see the evaluate on ideas, you see, and then you see in the another step, you see present ideas, recorded ideas, you see, and then go to the select most associated ideas, others write down their ideas, and then warm up the last receiving these new ideas. Osborne's method. Osborne claimed that two participants contribute to ideative efficacy, this being defer judgment, reach quantity, not quality. You think this is quantity more important. Following these two principles, there is four general rules for brainstorming established with the intention to reduce social inhibitions among groups members, stimulate idea generation, increase overall creativity of the group. Increase overall creativity of the group. Go for quantity. You see, remember the word quantity. This rule is a mean of enhancing divergent production, aiming at the facilitation of problem solution through the maximum quantity breeds quality. Assumption is that the greater the number of ideas generated, the bigger the chance of producing a radical and effective solution. Withhold criticism. The main point of the in this session, brainstorming session, criticism of ideas generated should be put on hold. Instead, participants should focus on extending or adding to ideas, reserving criticism for a later critical stage. of a process. By suspending judgment, participants will feel free and generate unusual ideas. So you think in this brainstorming session, no one criticizes others' ideas. They'll come wild ideas. To get a good long list of suggestions, wild ideas are encouraged. They can be generated by looking from new perspective and suspending assumptions. A new way of thinking might give you better solutions. Increasing overall creativity of the group, combine and improve ideas as suggested by the slogan 1 plus 1 is equal to 3. It is believed to stimulate the building of ideas by a process of association. 1 plus 1 is 2, but in this session, in this brainstorming session, it is possible 1 plus 1 to, in this place 1 plus 1 is equal to 3. 1 is added because of the brainstorming session, new ideas evaluation. Brainstorming is well known to yield a large quantity of ideas and generate high quality solutions. More so, team can leverage brainstorming using this brainstorming technique. Truly, teams can get new ideas flowing and unleash truly creative ideas. You can also think about why the individual brainstorming not inside. Commonly, brainstorming is teamwork, but you also doing this individual brainstorming. Individual brainstorming is the use of brainstorming is a solitary situation. It typically includes such a technique as free writing, free speaking, word association, and drawing a mind map, which is visual note taking techniques in which people diagram their thoughts. You can also individual brainstorming in your own. Okay, thank you, student.